Action video. So what's up, everybody? What's up? So today something went wrong today. So today we finna expose Dan Snyder's relationship to Victoria Justice. Because I cannot see my chat. Something went wrong. So I can't see my chat. So I can't see my chat. So I can't see my chat. So today we finna expose Dan Schneider and Victoria Justice relationship. If you do not know Victoria Justice is an actress. She was on Zoe 101 and Victorious, and she worked closely with Dan Schneider. So today we're finna react to this vid by Sloan. Because I ain't finna let the devil stop this reaction video. So let's react to it. Sloan, Dan Schneider and Victoria Justice relationship.
Owe some people a pretty strong apology.
You do it way more gentle than my mom does it.
Victoria Justice is standing up against Dan Schneider and calling out his bad behavior. She is a new star to join a handful speaking out against Nickelodeon. And the timing of everything is very interesting because now that Dan is suing everyone and trying to get the documentary taken down, stars who previously refused to speak out are now telling their story so that we can make sure that Dan Schneider is gone from kids television for good. So let's get into it. To be honest, I was getting bored talking about Dan Schneider, especially watching him go out and try to reshape the narrative and trying to sue this documentary and call out other past castmates for making false accusations about him. But lately, other people have been coming forward to set the record straight and to make it known that Dan Schneider is in fact this monster we've been all talking about. And yes, I'm talking about Victoria Justice, who is a big time star of dance, who had an entire show written about her, actually talks about moments where she felt uncomfortable by him. Reports write that Victoria Justice shared her reaction to the Quiet on Set docuseries this week, saying the program shed light on the former Nickelodeon executive Dan Schneider's very large ego. Now remember, Victoria starred in Nickelodeon shows Zoe 101 and Victorious from 2005 to 2013. So she spent 8 years of her life working with Dan. So if she has something to say, I'm going to listen to it. Remember, Dan Schneider has been accused of workplace misconduct and sexual harassment by many of Victoria's.
Girl, first of all, Victoria, you did 8 years with this man. It's a reason why you survived. You survived 8 years with Dan Schneider. If you did 8 years with this man, you are a survivor. Okay? Because first of all, this man has been known for workplace disorderly conduct and disrespecting staff members to the point to where they wanted to quit. He put one lady in the hospital too. So if you survived more than 8 years with this man, you're a genius. Because I don't know if I would have done it.
peers. So a lot of the people that she worked with had this reaction to him. So, I mean, it's not like she would be excluded from that. Though I did hear over time that Dan would usually leave his big stars alone, like Miranda Cosgrove, because he would go for the side stars that he could easily replace. He would bully them or make them feel uncomfortable because he knows that he could put them in a position where they could just be out of a job. Remember, Dan tried to do like an influencer apology on YouTube, which completely flopped. It's giving like Colleen Ballinger energy. Like nobody has time for it. Nobody's accepting your apology, but he felt the need to do it. And I'm going to dissect it because I don't think it's genuine.
Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret. And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
Now, Victoria spoke to Mary Claire, and she said her experience with Nickelodeon was mostly positive, but that the docuseries did accurately portray Dan Schneider's very large ego, which sometimes clouded his better judgment and affected the way that he treated people. Now, her connection to Dan Schneider remains complicated. I'm not condoning any of his behavior, she said, and noted that she was barely kept in contact with him since the end of Victorious. Victoria said in retrospect, some of the jokes created by Dan Schneider on both shows were in poor taste. And Dan Schneider's statement after the docuseries, he admitted that he owes many people apologies, and the actress musician stated, I'm definitely one of the people on that list. Victoria is absolutely owed one of those apologies. Let's take a look at one of those inappropriate scenes that she's probably thinking of when thinking about Dan and how gross he is.
Hey, Tori, maybe you should play a woman who loves to make out with 2-foot tall guys who happen to be me.
To shut him up, Tori gives him a big smooch. And this leaves Rex a shuddering mess who can't seem to think of anything, much less a good quip.
Rex? Take me home.
It's hard to tell what Rex's reaction means. Either he was incredibly uncomfortable with the affection, or, more likely, he enjoyed Tori's kiss a little too much.
Would you like a sausage?
Sure, okay.
Excellent. Here's a nice fat one.
What kind of sausage is this?
Oh, just sausage. You know.
You want to get slapped with a sausage? Sure. No!
A lot of innuendos here, and it gets worse. We will react to a few more, but I want to give you Victoria's full statement. She said, at the end of the day, my relationship with Dan is a very complex one. I met him when I was 12 years old, and he's the person that gave me this big break. He completely changed my life. Most likely, I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for him and for him seeing something in me. For that, I'll always be grateful. After watching his apology, I think he recognizes he did a lot of things wrong, and I think if he could step back into a time machine, he would do a lot of things differently. So she's giving him a lot of grace for someone who put her in a lot of compromising situations.
Oh, hell no. I was there. No, sir.
You in college yet?
No, sir. First of all, if somebody squat anything that looks like a C-shot, oh, we'll never be friends. Ever. And I will never forgive you for that. That is disgusting. Why is this man who's supposed to be a principal squirting lotion on minors and children? That needs to be looked into. I feel sorry for that poor man. He probably, I don't know if
Hi. 2 large coconuts.
Those are good ones.
Oh my god. No.
Wow. Never heard that from a girl before.
Are those Pagelli Huchos?
Uh-huh.
I've seen them on TV.
I have 142 more at home.
Oh, yeah?
Then give us those.
What?
You want our Pagelli Huchos?
What are we gonna do?
Well, we could stay back here and snoodle.
Gross.
Hello, St. John.
Oh my god, this is exactly how I dreamed it would happen.
Come on. Let's just go. It'll be fun.
No,
Why not?
because I didn't shower this morning and I had tuna fish for lunch and there's a dude in the back seat.
Now, Victoria says she has not been in contact with Dan Schneider since leaving Nickelodeon, aside from a handful of virtual and in-person reunions with the cast of Zoe 101 and Victoria. So it doesn't seem like she wants to align herself with him, even though her statement is slightly forgiving. I don't think she wants to be on his side, and she's making that known.
Yep, and it doesn't just blow. You flick that little red guy into reverse, it sucks.
Don't be shy. My throat is my instrument. I'm a throat player.
Doesn't count.
And it sounds kind of gross.
It does sound gross, and it's a complicated, like, scene to unpack. All those scenes are complicated to unpack because it's like, there are layers to it. There are inappropriate layers. Each episode has these taglines at the end, and they're very bizarre noises. They're weird. It's gross, and it's a part of this show for whatever reason. Let's just react to it together. Oh, God.
I heard you swallow.
Here comes that feeling.
That is a quality foot.
That is so not tight.
Sometimes I do it to myself.
I can't take it anymore.
Is this gonna hurt?
Probably. Ooh, it's all tingly. It's average.
I like it. But it hurts.
How bad do you want this? Can I hold it?
No, I don't want to see that thing again. Put it away.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
You do it way more gentle than my mom does it.
I am disgusted by those sound bites. They're foul. Someone who isn't going as easy on Dan as Victoria is another person from his past, actually another star who was on his show, All That. Lori Beth was on All That, and she has a really disturbing story that I want to review with you guys. It was around 1995. It was her 19th birthday, and Dan Schneider had her on the first season of All That.
It's good to make a sandwich. It's weird to make out with a sandwich.
Why is this girl talking about making out with a sandwich? But yeah, like what he made Lori Deathberg do, like with the whole gun and the police thing. Why would he have a gun with a 17-year-old girl in the car? What type of weird stuff is this man always doing? I feel so bad for these survivors. Like Dan Schneider, you need to be sued. Allegedly.
Actually, there was a moment where a head producer met with Lori Beth to talk to her about her weight, which actually got Dan Schneider upset because, Dan Schneider's been a big boy in his past and he was hurt by that. Nobody should be criticized for their weight. So he actually was angry and he went on to say that he should have been there to have that conversation with her. Now, at first, she appreciated the support. Their conversation started to shift and Lori realized that Dan Schneider started was a video where a woman performed oral on a donkey. What the fuck? She said that was the first time that he had preyed on her. During her 4 seasons at All That, she said that he put her in countless uncomfortable situations. He lashed out on her on set. He played inappropriate tapes for her on multiple occasions. He initiated an phone sex. She said, looking back, that she is disturbed that the power imbalance between herself and Dan Schneider, which led to her kind of succumbing to him. Dan Schneider said, as I previously stated, there were times, particularly in the early years of my career, that I made mistakes and exhibited.
Odin Valhalla Rising, now available on mobile and PC, exclusively with Google Play Games.
Poor judgment as a leader. If I did that with respect to Lori Beth, I sincerely apologize to her. I cannot apologize for things I did not do. So is he denying it or is he apologizing for it? Doesn't sound like either. She said that her relationship with Dan developed into a weird, abusive friendship. And one night when she was around 20 or 21, things became physical. They were watching Jeopardy at his home and he made a bet on who could get the most answers correct. The winner would get a massage. But then when she won, she said that Dan Schneider fondled and put his mouth on her breasts. Also, Dan Schneider's married at this point, so why is he cheating on his wife? Ew, and preying on, let alone the Lori part's disgusting, but he's cheating on his wife in his home? Where's his wife at? She actually claims one time at a dinner with writers and crew members, he asked the group if everyone realized that Lori's boobs were different sizes. She responded at the time by throwing a bread roll at Dan Schneider. Lori claims when she visited the Amanda show, the 13-year-old Amanda Bynes looked gaunt. She didn't interact with Dan directly, but she overheard him saying that the show had to stop filming recently because Amanda was so tired. She did try to speak to Brian Robbins, who is Dan Schneider's boss, but Dan and him are very close, and she had a feeling that she could not trust him, and her feeling was right because he did not do anything. Either way, Victoria and Lori should not have gone through that, and damn it, Lori's story is way worse than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I assumed everyone's story was bad, but the fact that he was like physical with her, showing her these things, like a donkey, I can't get over the donkey. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I am probably in London right now. By the time of this video, I think I'll probably be filming while I'm there as well, but
okay, I don't know what's going on in my chat, but please like, please subscribe this, please like, and please share this video and subscribe. Bye, y'all.